At that time, I heard Janae screaming, and I looked down at her, and she was yelling, "Dad, I can't feel my legs. I can't feel my legs."
Tonight, we're hearing from the father of a teen who lost both her legs in a crash in downtown St. Louis. Janae Edmondson's father took the stand just hours ago in the trial against the driver accused of causing the crash. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Bush.
I'm Kelly Jackson. Janae was visiting St. Louis last year for a volleyball tournament at the Dome when she was hit. The man accused of hitting her, Daniel Riley, is charged with armed criminal action, driving without a license, and multiple counts of assault. Christine Byers was in the courtroom and is live outside the Carnahan Courthouse with more on testimony we heard today.
Kelly and Mike, for the first time today, we got to hear what Daniel Riley's defense is going to be. And we also heard from James Edmondson, who talked about how he asked a stranger for his belt so he could use it as a tourniquet and save his daughter's life. Daniel Riley's attorney, Daniel Deemer, told jurors the police focused on his client from the moment they got there, never considering how the other driver who T-boned him could be at fault. Prosecutors focused on how Daniel Riley acted recklessly on the night in question. They also showed jurors photos of Janae Edmondson before and after the crash. And Janae's father, James Edmondson, took that stand first. He told jurors the sound of Riley's car crashing into his daughter sounded like a grenade. And that triggered him to go back mentally to the grenade training he had in the military.
And my mind actually went from father mode to military. And when I looked down and saw her leg was severed, and I knew she only had seconds and not minutes, my mind just kind of blocked everything out. And it was like God had control of my hands at that time.
Jurors also heard today from the driver of that other car that was involved in this crash, another witness, and a responding officer. This trial is expected to last through the rest of this week. Live outside the Carnahan Courthouse in downtown St. Louis, Christine Byers, 5 on your side.
The NAACP says it found issues of racial discrimination during an investigation into the Missouri Central Bus Company.
Last week, St. Louis Public Schools canceled after-school activities after bus drivers walked off the job. Nearly 100 drivers called out to support mechanics who say they are facing racial harassment. One worker says he found a noose inside a bus garage. The mechanics say they've reported the problems to HR.
At first, I didn't want to get involved with all of this, and then I thought about it for a minute, and I said, well, maybe some people need to know the truth. No matter what color you are, if you have knowledge and insight into making that job safer and better, then I feel that your knowledge and insight should be taken greatly appreciated no matter what color you are.
The bus company has hired an independent third party to investigate the allegations. The company sent us a statement in the last hour saying, quote, Missouri Central is in compliance with the state of Missouri regarding bus inspections. Our qualified team of maintenance professionals inspect SLPS buses, and any problems we identify are addressed.
Tonight is the biggest showdown yet in the race for the White House. It's Super Tuesday.
Voters in more than a dozen states are headed to the polls. More delegates are up for grabs. Our political editor, Mark Maxwell, is here with a preview as polls start to close on the East Coast in about an hour. Mark?
That's right. One big question going into tonight, is this Nikki Haley's last stand? Or will the former UN ambassador find a way to mount a comeback of some kind, build any momentum, and try to make her case that she has what it takes to stay in this race against Donald Trump? Super Tuesday used to be a major make-or-break moment for presidential hopefuls still hanging on past the early voting states. The grand prize of all those delegates scattered across the country would start to show up on the scoreboard and really separate contenders from pretenders. But Donald Trump has steamrolled so many of his GOP challengers so quickly, GOP primary voters just haven't expressed much of an appetite for anyone but Trump. We asked our expert political analyst, Anita Mannion, what's at stake for Nikki Haley tonight?
I think a lot of people are waiting to see if she can win any state. So far, the only win she has is in Washington, D.C. And frankly, I think it's unlikely that she wins a state today. So I think another question is to see if she outperforms polls. So far, she has been outperforming the polling. But ultimately, if you can't win states, it doesn't really matter.
Mannion said she's watching liberal-leaning states with a larger share of voters with that college education, states like Vermont or Massachusetts that vote tonight, to see if Haley can win any state outright. But there just aren't enough of those smaller states alone to cobble together a path to victory at the convention.
Mark, thanks. At NBC News, we'll have live results and analysis on Super Tuesday tonight. You can watch that here on 5 on Your Side starting at 9 p.m. And right after that, Mark Maxwell will be back to have more coverage on 5 on Your Side at 10.
Now let's get to our weather first forecast with meteorologist Jim Castillo. Jim.
Yeah, you know that midnight high, guys, 69 degrees, warmer than now. So we're getting more of a north wind at about 12 miles an hour. It's 51. So jacket weather at the moment, and that front still to the south of us. So watching southern Reynolds County, Iron County, a couple flashes of lightning down there. Again, severe weather is expected further south, right along the Missouri and Arkansas border. Severe weather preparedness week. It's this whole week, and lightning safety is the big topic today. So when thunder roars, go indoors. You don't want to stay outside when that happens. 250 cloud-to-ground lightning strikes in the U.S. per year, and 300 people struck yearly, and up to 30 deaths and serious injuries because of that. Coming up in Maine weather, we'll talk about more chances for thunder and rain later this week and how much rain may fall coming up in just a bit.
All right, thank you, Jim. Well, tonight, relief is on the way for some property owners in northern St. Charles County. Hundreds of homeowners are eligible for buyouts after that massive flood of 2019. 5 on Your Side's Mercedes McKay shows you why you need to act fast if you're interested.
We've experienced floods periodically for as long as we've been around.
With 40% of the entire county in a flood zone, residents in St. Charles are used to high waters, and the flood of 2019 was no exception.
We had about 90,000 acres flooded here.
Cities like Portage de Sioux and West Alton were left completely underwater, with hundreds of homes destroyed in the county and parts of St. Charles City. County leaders like Robert Myers knows that won't be the last of it, and that's where a forward-looking grant comes into play.
The purpose is to demolish the home, create permanent open space, and then take people out of harm's way for the next flood.
The county received $15.7 million to buy up to 100 homes. But this week, nearly 1,000 property owners received a letter in the mail that they were eligible.
We want people to know that if they receive such a letter, don't disregard it as junk mail or it's not a fraud attempt. It's legitimate.
And these buyouts are what's known as mutually voluntary, meaning the buyer and the seller must agree to participate.
We have a number of priorities and criteria that we're using in order to spend our money the best that we can.
The county is hopeful demolishing could begin at the end of the year, but altogether this process could take several more to complete.
We have to plan carefully to ensure that we can continue growth, but in a way that's not going to put people in harm's way.
Now, if you are interested in selling your home, you first must complete an expression of interest form before that application process can begin. You can do that online, on the phone, or by mail. In St. Charles, Mercedes McKay, 5 on Your Side.
Coming up, action from Alabama lawmakers, the steps they're taking to protect IVF after a controversial court ruling.
A crackdown on credit card companies, the new rule that can save you money.
Reunited with a lost memory, how a class ring is making its way back to one Washington University alum after half a century.